Welcome to Wisdom of the World. Today I'm going to tell a story from India. It's a story about when you think that lying is your best option. It's called Dharma Buddhi and Papa Buddhi. And it goes like this. Once upon a time in India, there were two friends. One was called Dharma Buddhi, which means the one with a just heart, and the other was called Papa Buddhi, which means the one with an unjust heart. Now, Papa Buddhi thought at a certain moment it'd be a really great idea if we would go to another town and make a lot of money, and then I'll cheat Dharma Buddhi out of that money, and then I'll have enough for the rest of my life. So he talked to Dharma Buddhi and he says, wouldn't you want to go to another place, another country, and make some money? And then Dharma Buddhi thought, yeah, that's a great idea. Why don't we do that? So they set up on a trip together, and they were very smart and very skillful, and they managed to make a lot of money. And so on their way back, they, of course, longing to go back home, they passed by a big forest. And Papa Buddhi said, let's not just come home with all our riches, because that may make people jealous very much. So let's hide a lot in a container, and then we'll dig that container here in the forest, and we'll remember where we dug it, and then when we need it, we can go get it. And Dharma Buddhi thought, yeah, maybe that's a good idea. So let's do that. So they stashed most of what they made in a container in the forest, and they went with some of their earnings, they went back home. They were well received, and they were living again with their families. At a certain moment, Papa Buddhi said, you know, we are both still poor and we have big families to feed, so why don't we go to the forest and get the rest of the money? And Dharma Buddhi thought, yeah, okay, let's do that, good idea. They were going to go the next day, but that night, Papa Buddhi went over there to the forest, to that stash of money in a container, took it all out, and then filled the container back with sand and put it back where it was hidden. And then the next day, Dharma Buddhi and Papa Buddhi both set out to that place to get that money. So when they came there, surprise, the money was all gone. It was just sand. And Papa Buddhi said to Dharma Buddhi, so that's your plan all along. So he accused him of, actually, you're the only one that knew where this was, so it must have been you who had taken it. And Dharma Buddhi says, no, you know, I would never do such a thing. Listen, even this is my name. Yeah, I would never go against that. And they quarreled and they quarreled, and they said, let's take this case to court. So they did, and it became a court case. And at a certain moment, the judges said, let's go to the site and see where all of this happened. So that night, Papa Buddhi went to his father and said, Father, I'm robbed Dharma Buddhi from all his money, and I will lose it and maybe even lose my life if I don't find a way to get out of it. And now you can help me. You have to go in this hollow tree, and when you hear me say that this is my money, you have to come out and say, oh no, this actually has been taken by Dharma Buddhi. So they go there with the judges to that spot, and the father is hiding in that hollow tree. And when the moment came to really figure out what was going on, Papa Buddhi said, I swear that I have never been to this spot except when I hid the money, so I never took it out. And then out of nowhere, all of a sudden this voice came and said, yes, it is Dharma Buddhi who took all the money. Nobody knew where that voice came from. It was the father hidden in the tree. And they were all shocked and they say, oh, they were ready to punish Dharma Buddhi, the good guy, and reward the bad guy. But then Dharma Buddhi stayed very cool and he poured some flammable stuff on that tree and he put it to burn. He started to burn it. Started to burn, started to heat up, started to smoke. And then finally, Papa Buddhi's father came out and said, huh? What's happening here? And then everybody understood what had happened. And that's the story. Dharma Buddhi was praised and Papa Buddhi was punished. If you have any comments on this story, let me know. Or suggestions for another one. Thank you.